Well, I guess you guys didn't like my video. Now most of us have found some middle ground, or at least learned to respect other people's opinions, but there are still some of you who just don't get it. It's even just the most vocal minority of fans that are actually toxic and stupid. And these people aren't just the ones that disagree. No, I love when people disagree because it gives me room for argumentation, which is exciting. Especially when you're both passionate about something. However, the people I'm referring to are the ones that are just so one-sided and stuck up in their own opinions that they don't even consider other people's opinions, because how could they ever be wrong? Those people who bring unsupported arguments and defend them to the end of the earth. Those who just attack others for trying to be civilized and open-minded. Those are the people I don't like. And there were a lot of those people who commented on my last videos. However, I don't discourage you to refrain from dissing me in the comments. I love it. It brings me joy. If you want to call me a dickhead, then do it. I am. But if anyone wants to have a real and meaningful discussion about Star Wars in the comments, then don't be afraid to do so. That's why I started making these videos. Also, to anyone who didn't see it, I was on Anomaly's podcast a couple days ago, and we discussed The Last Jedi and toxic Star Wars fans. And it was actually really nice and a civilized discussion. Because you see, you don't have to be malicious when your opinions differ from other people. But some people just don't get that. But yeah, it was a great podcast, and I recommend you all to watch at least some of it when you're done with this video. But without further ado, let's get into these wonderful responses. Now, some of these comments I'll just be taking the piss out of because they have no ground, but others who make decent points, I'll actually try to explain myself. Because as one of my teachers once taught me, if you're trying to make people understand you and they aren't understanding, then it's probably not their fault. Maybe you need to take a look at yourself, try again in a different way. But also, I'm gonna just scream at everyone who dissed me because I can't handle pressure and began crying when I read these messages. Now first I want to address this comment from the original toxic Star Wars fan, because what the fuck. The amazing Lucas was joking, that's his sense of humor, he goes to the extreme on purpose. Listen, I don't care if he was joking, it wasn't funny. Anyone who has suffered from cancer, whether themselves or someone in their family, can tell you how fucking destroying it is. It's beyond toxic to wish cancer upon thousands of people, just because you didn't like a movie. I don't care if it's just his persona. It's his choice to be offensive as shit on the internet. Ricky Gervais does it. He did it at the Oscars, and it was fucking hilarious. But just be ready to face the criticism if you go too far.
Ha ha ha. Man, this video of yours is so bad that it reeks of out of context bullshit. Not to mention you're encouraging the IMO tactic as a shield to deflect criticism.
What? When did I encourage using the opinion card to deflect criticism? I'm the one doing the criticizing. I mentioned in my video that it's alright to have opinions on movies, that we can all love a movie that most people think is horseshit. But movies can also be objectively good and bad. They can have attributes that just don't work on a filmmaking level. I'm not saying that Anomaly Inc. and millions of others can't like the prequels. I like the prequels a lot. My problem is just when people go to the ends of the earth defending something and looking past all their flaws but can't do the same for something else. See, now that is hypocritical.
Rey is a Mary Sue, she never puts in the work and surpassed Yoda in a few days.
Alright, now here's the highlight of the whole video. There was like 3 people here who just went off on each other, and it was fucking amazing. Rainmaker23 was the only one with sense. So if you're watching this, Rainmaker23, then know that I appreciate you very much. But holy fuck, the arguments the other people were giving were out of this world. First of all, Rey never surpassed Yoda. Yoda would flick her away like he was nothing. Second of all, yes, Rey is a Mary Sue, but so is Luke and so is Anakin. Luke had never flown in space before, but yet he beats a squadron of trained soldiers. He had never been in a war before, but yet he was one of the only 2 survivors of the trench run. He didn't even know what the Force was, but still Obi-Wan tells him to use it, and then he blows up the Death Star. He's a Mary Sue. Anakin is fucking Jesus. He's born with more midichlorians than fucking Yoda, and blows up a separatist ship as if it was nothing. People get mad that Rey wins against Kylo Ren. But like, if you're gonna watch a movie, at least pay attention. Rey is competent with a staff weapon. We were shown this when she beat up those thugs at the scrapyard. Kylo Ren gets shot by a bowcaster and he's limping the whole fight. And he doesn't even try to kill her. He's attempting to turn her to the dark side. It's not unreasonable that she wins. But holy fuck, she loses to him in a fair fight in The Rise of Skywalker. She's way less of a Mary Sue than Luke was. But it's Star Wars, so it doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, definitely read through those comments, they're fucking hilarious. And my boy Omar here has had a true character arc. He went from thinking I'm meh, or a retard, to thinking my videos are better. Thank you, Omar, for becoming a competent person who dictates their own thoughts. We were all rooting for you. But then fucking Darth Vader commented.
Bro, so obviously you're new. I don't know if you thought going after Anomaly half-cocked would get you view and attention. Maybe if your channel was big and you had a large fan base. But you're literally a newborn channel, just look at your like to dislike ratio. People like to throw in their 10 cents and opinions based on topics that they really don't know all that much about. Do your research next time. If you would have watched his entire video you would have realised that you had no foundation to stand on. I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan, I always have been. In fact, anyone that is a true Star Wars fan, even the ones that like the Disney trilogy, we don't take this shit lightly, we're passionate as fuck about it. And if you put out garbage like this, we're going to tear you to shreds, lol. Not a good way to start a channel, bro.
I never in a million years thought I'd win a war against someone with 1,000 times more subscribers than me. But that wasn't the point. I don't give a fuck about dislikes. Hate on me all you want. I saw a video I fundamentally disagreed with and I made a video about it. Of course people are going to hate, especially since he reacted to the video. His fans have the same thoughts and ideals as he does, so of course when I go after his hypocrisy, I go after yours as well. And you got upset about it. At least he's not being a dick about it. Also, if you don't want me getting views and attention, then why are you giving me views and attention? But the real thing that pissed me off about this comment was the part about being a hardcore Star Wars fan. You're not any bit as much of a Star Wars fan as I am. And even though you say you have respect with sequel lovers, we all know that's a fucking lie. Because you can't take criticism of your precious prequels, and the sequels are a great way for you to make those movies look good, even though it's invalid. Like and dislike all you want, but stop being a toxic Star Wars fan.
Dude, this video rocks. I completely agree, plus the outro is a bop.
Barry B, you have the sickest profile picture ever. Bless your soul, and just for you, I'll play some more of the epic track.
Okay, so you think the pod racing scene was drawn out, but the original Star Wars had a trash compactor scene?
I've never said the trash compactor scene was good. Nor the random monster scene from Force Awakens, or the random chase scene on Canto Bight, nor the factory scene on Geonosis. They're not good scenes because they pull you out of the movie. They damage the pacing of the movie. The reason I chose the pod racing scene is because he talked about it. He said that it wasn't a valid argument for why the movie is presented poorly, which it definitely is. People really choose the dumbest things to hate about. Some people actually took the time to criticize me and sometimes even had good points. But you listen to Anomaly Inc. all day and think you know it all.
This video is such a mess. Try again.
I like this one. It's like a normal school day. You've just spent a good 13 hours writing an essay only for the teacher to give you a 4, but he says try again. And you know what? I listened. I tried again.
The Phantom Menace is pointless. Another degenerate who graduated from Planklet's School of Unintentional Satire. No, my delusional friend, the Phantom Menace is not pointless. It is the substructure upon which everything in the prequels are built. It showcases how Palpatine manipulates every player. It showcases the one character capable of throwing sand in his machinations.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
It showcases Anakin's core characteristics and how those will be at odds with Obi-Wan.
First of all, everyone always mentions this Planklet person, and I have no fucking idea who he is. Secondly, from a narrative point of view, yeah, the Phantom Menace is kinda pointless. Palpatine manipulates everyone in the other movies as well. Qui-Gon dies, so this rebellious nature that he has no purpose in the other movies. Anakin's characteristics are also shown in the other movies. And even, as I said, the scenes with his mom and his connection to real people is a good thing to keep and add to the Attack of the Clones. I don't think the Phantom Menace has much purpose, but I don't have a say in it, do I? It's just my opinion on why the film isn't as great as people say it is.
Sounds like TurfNation did it just to get views. Just sad.
Well, yeah, of course I did. I'm a commentary channel, and the only point of making videos is for people to listen to your ideas and opinions. Cosmonaut makes videos to get views. Anomaly Inc. makes videos to get views. You can still be making videos for your own creative purpose or because you're passionate about it. Me making a video on Anomaly Inc. calling him out on his bullshit is no different than Anomaly Inc. calling out Cosmonaut on his bullshit. But yeah, of course we want views. That's why you make this.
We might not have any emotional connection with him, but his scheme and action drives the plot in an interesting direction. If someone thinks that is boring, then that is on you. It is not a bad written character.
No, a character doesn't have to be emotionally driven, but since people are saying he's an interesting character, then yes, he needs something to him that resonates with the audience on an emotional level. He has no motivations, no character traits, no moments of doubt or anger or sadness, or any emotion except content. He's just a forgettable villain. But thanks to outside sources, he's not.
Luke's arc in The Last Jedi is the best arc in the saga. LOL! You lost all credibility there.
Alright, well then give me a character with a better arc. If you say Anakin, I will fucking kill someone. Because nope, his turn to the dark side comes out of fucking nowhere. Yes, he may have killed a whole tribe of Tusken Raiders who were practically animals. They would have killed him as well. Yes, he's afraid to lose Padme like he lost his mom, but he goes from a noble guy who refuses to leave his master behind instead of completing the mission to murdering fucking children. We've never seen him do anything even close to this. A character arc is not going from 1% to 99%. No, a character arc is a change from 49% to 51%. The character needs to almost be the person they end up as. They need to have the traits from the beginning. It's just in a corrupted form. Anakin's arc is not emotionally resonant. He's just a psychopath. But yes, please give me another character from the prequels. Exactly, you can't because no other character has character arcs. Obi-Wan doesn't have a character arc. Padme's character arc doesn't exist. If you ask anyone who's not a male, they'll say that it's not a character arc. It's just her becoming a slave. There are no character arcs in the prequels, and yes. Also, I think it's hilarious that some guys said the Death Sticks dude had a better character arc. Now, this is funny. It's a joke. But holy shit, I have a feeling he's actually serious because prequel fanboys tend to be.
Before you even hit 3 minutes, you said A, the sequels had the best acting, and B, Luke's character arc in The Last Jedi was the best and most well-written arc in all of Star Wars. The Last Jedi objectively has the worst writing in all of Star Wars outside of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
If you're going to use a word like objectively, you might as well use it correctly. You can't be objective if you don't give any solid reasoning for your choice. I want you to truly sit down and tell me how the writing of The Phantom Menace is better than The Last Jedi. Luke's character arc is completely thorough and satisfying. Rey's parentage is handled so well and brings mysticism to the Force again. Kylo and Rey's relationship is heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time as their contrasting morals clash with this new connection they've gained. There are things you can say about the prequels that are better than the sequels, but writing is just not one of them. But by all means, be objective and give me reasoning. My video has suffered from a lack of support, so therefore I'm giving it now.
Buddy, the first thing to note about making a response video is that your video needs to be longer than the video itself. The problem with Anomaly's video isn't that it is long, it is that you're just lazy. How's about you take the time to put actual effort into the video instead of picking and choosing what to take out of context to try and discredit him?
Just because Anomaly Inc. makes long videos where he responds to people doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. Yes, I don't have time to nitpick everything in this video so my arguments can lack full support, but also don't want to. I don't have a problem with all his points, just some that are annoying and hypocritical. If I did his whole video, then I would have been nitpicking, and I would have had even less support to stand on. Alright, but I think I'll end with this behemoth of a comment, but fuck me, it's low-key longer than any essay I've ever written. Firstly, he calls out my lack of objectivity, which fair enough, there could be some good points. He says my argument for the lack of character arcs is unsupported by examples, but there are no examples to be given. There aren't any character arcs. I find this fucking hilarious. He tells me to give more examples of good sequel characters and bad prequel characters, so yeah, Rey, Kylo, Finn, and Poe for the most part, Han are all good characters, while Padme, Yoda, Anakin are poorly written. I use minor characters in the first video like Mace Windu and Count Dooku because I actually hear people say that they care about these characters on an emotional level. Next, he says my comment on Han is pointless because it's not my character or vision, and alright, cool, good for you. The changes just contradict his character arc. Fight me. He also doesn't understand the sarcasm behind me saying the video was 42 minutes long. I watched the whole video multiple times and picked out the parts that were worth responding to. Anomaly Inc. is not a dumbass, so not everything he says needs to be criticized. Then he calls my argument about politics in The Dark Knight being interesting compared to the prequels a bad argument, because they're different movies with different purposes, and that The Phantom Menace is just a simple story about space wizards. I don't get you prequel fanboys. Some of you say they're deep and in-depth stories that can be appreciated from a thematic point of view, while others say it's just a simple story not to be taken too seriously. And it's honestly confusing me. My argument was against someone who had a different argument than you do, so your argument doesn't make sense in the context. Then he has this weird argument against me saying that the pod racing scene has no tension because we know Anakin will survive. He says that in The Dark Knight we know the Joker will eventually lose to Batman, so it doesn't have tension either. The only difference is that we know Batman can win physically, but we're not sure of the moral outcome. We have no idea whether the ships with hundreds of people will blow up. We don't know whether the Joker will win a psychological victory. We don't know whether Harvey Dent will kill Gordon's family. There are so many stakes and possible consequences here that create tension. He even mentions the Hoth scene and how we know Luke won't die. But yeah, he could still fail and the rebel base gets blown up. With the pod racing scene, the only risk is Anakin getting hurt. The Jedi will find a way back anyways. It's only Anakin's risk, and we know he'll be fine. Then he goes on a bit more about how I didn't watch the video. Finally, he disses my argument about Qui-Gon's lack of emotional depth and says that we don't need detailed explanations for why a character is the way he is. And sure, we don't need to know everything. I especially don't want him to personally say it, but just something that explains why he is the way he is. If compassion is his strongest character trait, but all we ever see is just politeness, then what the fuck? We know nothing about why Qui-Gon is the way he is. That was my argument, and I stand by it. Honestly, this comment just tried too hard. He has good points some of the time, like my response being undeveloped at times, which is why I've made these other videos. But listen man, opinion only takes you so far. You can't fight opinion with opinion. You need something stronger. You can dislike or like a movie all you want, but you can't take that opinion into an argument. You need something more solid, and I like you for giving examples at least, I just don't agree. I feel like the prequels are deeply flawed films that you can definitely get enjoyment out of. But when looked at from an objective lens, they just don't hold up. These are the same standards that I hold against the sequels in, and even though I feel they're objectively better movies, they're still deeply flawed as well. Fucking hell, that last one went on for way too long. Anyways, that was my response to like 10 out of 200 comments, but time is a thing, so yeet. I'm sorry I'm uploading less, but this semester is going to be extremely stressed, and I don't have much time. I do try to upload as often as possible, but yeah, just know that I'm constantly working on new videos. But anyways, if you liked the video, then like and subscribe for more movie-related content. If you didn't like the video or disagree with my points, then feel free to leave a comment explaining yourself. I try to respond to as many as I can, especially if they're worth talking about. But anyways, I wish you all a wonderful day, and I'll see you all later.